Good morning. Today, before we begin our flow, I'm going to talk a little bit about downward facing dog. We do so many down dogs when we're doing, especially Vinyasa style yoga, that it's good to have some options if you start to get some pain somewhere or feel like it's not quite right for you. And there's also some things that are common mistakes in downward facing dog that are important to avoid. So let's get started. The first thing that you want to make sure that you're avoiding in downward facing dog is pulling your shoulders into your ears. Now, you can kind of do that when you're sitting. You just pull the shoulders up, that your hands are above your head in downward facing dog. You can also do that if you lift your hands up above your head. And then you can feel your shoulders down the back out of the ears. And then you can start to overextend, lifting those hands up, really stretching the hands up, pulling the shoulders into the ears. That's where you don't want them to be. So slide them down the back. Feel the shoulder blades going down the back. That's that spot where you want them to be in downward facing dog. Some other things that you have options with in down dog are your hands. You can have your hands with your middle fingers or your index fingers pointing straight towards the short end of the mat. Sometimes if you have tight elbows and wrists, it feels a little bit better to shift the hands so that your middle fingers are pointing forward. That keeps your elbows a little bit more tucked in. So that's an option as well. And when you're coming into downward facing dog, I find that most of my students feel really comfortable coming in from hands and knees tabletop, that your hands and your feet are just about the right distance apart when you come in from hands and knees tabletop. But again, you have to remember that every body is different. We're all proportioned differently. We have strength in different areas. So really just play around with it and see what feels right inside of your body. So let's look at those different options here. I'm just going to come in this way so you can see my shoulders. The first thing, the shoulders. Here I am in downward facing dog with my shoulders moving down my back. And now if you look at the shoulders, I've overextended them. Sometimes people do that because they want to get that extra lift. They really want to feel their hips reaching up towards the sky. But if you do the overextension in the shoulders, then you're going to end up with a shoulder injury if you do that too often. So you want to keep the shoulders down the back and get all the lift by lengthening the arms, straightening out the legs as much as you comfortably can, and pushing your hips up. Sorry about that. We see here, hands and knees tabletop. And then to come into downward facing dog, you tuck your toes under here and just lift the hips up. So this is pretty comfortable for me. I want to bring my feet forward about an inch, and that's my comfort zone right there. In downward facing dog, your heels want to be reaching towards the floor. Mine can touch the floor just because I've been doing yoga for quite a while, but when I first started, my heels were never touching the floor. So if your heels aren't touching the floor, don't worry about that. You just want to be pushing them down in that direction, reaching towards the floor. And as you push your heels down, you're going to feel a really nice stretch all along the back of the legs there. As soon as you find your edge, you can stop pushing those heels down. That's where you want to stop. Whatever that feels like inside of your body is fine. Hands and feet in downward facing dog are both about hip width distance apart. Some people really like to have their feet a little bit closer together. That's okay as well. You don't want to have them too wide. Sometimes we bring them a little bit wider for some other poses, but your normal down dog is going to have your feet somewhere about hip width distance apart. And your head and neck are just dangling down towards the ground. Really relaxed. You don't want to hold any tension there. You can wiggle it and shake it around, and then just let it fall back down. That's where you want your head to be. Now, if any of you have any questions about any of those down dog cues, you can ask me type of question on the video after it posts or in the live chat, and I'll try to get to it before we finish up today. Yeah, otherwise, let us begin. Oh, right, the music. If you would like to listen to some music during your practice today, I actually uploaded some new music just yesterday onto my SoundCloud, so I will look at that for you. Put the link here. And then if you'd like to listen to some music today, you can just go right to the SoundCloud and turn it on, and it'll just go perfectly with our flow today. So there you go. And we are going to start in child's pose. Find a kneeling position on your mat. You can have some space between your knees, or you can bring them together. Check back, make sure your toes aren't overlapping. You don't want to cut off the circulation there. Inhale, lifting the hands up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Stretch your hands out in front of you. Relax your forehead down towards the ground. Relax through your elbows, wrists, and fingers. If you like, you can bring your hands wrapped back towards the feet with your palms facing up. Close your eyes here. Get really comfortable. Let yourself sink into the ground a little bit. Feel the ground supporting you. Maybe you want to rock side to side on your forehead and your knees just a bit. Just so you can feel all those spots where the earth is supporting your body. On your arms, your knees, the fronts of your legs, the top of your forehead. And then find a little bit of stillness and start to call attention to your breath. Begin to deepen and lengthen your breath. Stretch your breath out as long as you comfortably can. Not in a forced way, just a gentle lengthening. Feel your lungs filling up with fresh, clean air on every breath in. And then emptying out every last speck of stale air with each exhale. One way to stimulate and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for rest and relaxation mode, is to lengthen your exhales just a little bit longer than your inhales. So you can try to do that, really stretching out each exhale. And look for your yoga breath, the Ujjayi breath, the ocean sounding breath in the back of your throat. Listen to the sound of your breath, allowing it to fill your mind and bring you fully present here, now, inside of your body. Start to do your body scan, checking in from the tips of your fingers, work your way through your hands, wrists, elbows, up into the shoulders, through the back of the neck. Notice how your facial muscles are feeling today. Sometimes when we get upset and stressed out, we start to scowl and kind of furrow our brow and start to feel some pain there. Just notice how it feels. And then move down the spine into your hips and through the legs, knees, ankles, and toes. As you go through, just make a note of anything that's not quite right today. Maybe you slept funny and you've got a kink in your neck or a kink in your back. Remind yourself of any injuries you have, old or new, so that you can take those into account as you go through your practice. And remember, as always, to make this practice your own. You're always welcome to modify any pose or take a break if that's what you need. Take a few more deep, full breaths here, just being inside of your body. If your knees are really close together, open them just a little bit, and then come into puppy pose. Start to crawl your fingertips forward, keeping your chest really low, lifting up the hips. Reach your chin or chest down towards the mat. Stretch out the belly here. Feel a nice gentle back bend. On your next inhale, bring your hands back, lifting up your chest, making your way to hands and knees tabletop. And then adjust. Bring the knees right below the hips. Wrists right below your shoulders. Move through cat-cow here, always going with the breath. Inhale, drop the belly down, roll the shoulders back, bring your gaze up or forward. Exhale, round out through your spine, push your back up towards the sky. Let your head and neck dangle down and drop your gaze through your knees. Keep moving just like that with the breath. Now, if for some reason you've got some discomfort in your wrists, you can move your hands around in downward facing dog. In hands and knees tabletop. Cat-cow, you can move your hands so that your fingers point out to the sides. And you can also, if it feels good, only if it feels good, turn your hands around so your fingers are pointing towards your knees. Sometimes that's just a little extra stretch on the wrists. If it does not feel good for whatever reason, just bring your hands back, fingers pointing right towards the short end of the mat. Come back to a neutral spine on a breath in, bringing your hands back with the fingers pointing towards the short end of the mat. And exhale, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes, lift your hips up. Check in with your shoulders, keeping those shoulder blades sliding down the back. Find a nice, comfortable position for your hands and feet. Pushing into the ground with your hands. You can have a little micro bend in those knuckles. Like you're gripping the mat. Fingers are open really nice and wide. Pedal out your legs, bending one knee and then the other. We're still warming up here, so we're moving nice and slow. Just getting the blood flowing through the body. Let's do 3 sun salutations with the breath. Bend your knees, lift your hands, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hop or step right between the hands, forward fold. Half lift, breathing in, lifting up the chest, bring the torso parallel to the ground. Fold forward as you breathe out, relaxing down. Inhale, rising up to standing, bend your knees, letting your arms dangle down, roll your spine up, and then lift your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. Side stretch to the right first. Inhale, hands high. Interlace your fingers, pointers up. Exhale, stretching down to the right. Up to center as you breathe in. And to the left as you breathe out. Inhale, rising up to center. Standing back bend as you exhale. Be really gentle with the neck here. Come straight back up on a breath in. Exhale, forward fold, hinging from your hips, keeping all the length in your spine as you go down. Half lift to breathe in. You can bring your hands to shins or float them over the ground. Exhale, double dip, chaturanga, plant your hands, hop or step back to your high plank, upper push up. Exhale, lowering down halfway, elbows tucked in, back up to breathe in. And lowering down halfway again as you breathe out. Up dog or cobra on your inhale. If your legs are on the ground, keep a bend in the elbows. Exhale, downward facing dog, tuck your toes, lift your hips up. On our second side salutation, we're going to start our side stretch to the left first. Bend your knees, look forward to your hands, take a deep breath in. Exhale, hop or step between your hands, forward fold. Half lift, breathing in. Forward fold as you breathe out. Rising up to standing on a breath in, bend your knees, stack your vertebrae one at a time. Lift your hands up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Side stretch again. Inhale, hands high. Interlace your fingers, pointers up. Exhale, stretching down to the left. Up to center, breathing in. And to the right as you breathe out. Straight up, big breath in. Standing back, bend on your exhale. Cactus the arms. Maybe you want to drop the hands to the back pockets. Coming straight back up to breathe in. Exhale, diving forward. You can bring your hands through heart center or you can bring them wide. Taking a half lift as you breathe in. Exhale, double dip, chaturanga, plant your hands, hop or step back to your high plank, lower down halfway, keeping your elbows right next to the rib cage. Lifting up on your breath in and down again as you breathe out. Up dog or cobra to breathe in. Downward facing dog on your breath out. One last sun salutation, straight up and down. Still going with the breath. Bend your knees, look forward to your hands, take a big breath in. Exhale, hop or step right between the hands, forward fold. Half lift to breathe in. Forward fold as you breathe out. All the way to standing on a breath in, take your time coming up. Exhale, hands to heart center. I'm going straight back down this time. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, diving forward, keeping the spine really long. Half lift to breathe in. Double dip, chaturanga, breathing out. Up dog or cobra on your breath in. And downward facing dog on your exhale. Lift your right foot high, take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose, shoulders right over the wrists. Foot goes back up, breathing in. Exhale, tap your right knee to your right elbow. Inhale, sending your heel high. Exhale, cross it over, tap your right knee to your left elbow. straight back up. Big breath in, and step the foot through between the hands as you breathe out, rising up on an inhale to warrior one. Back foot's down at about a 45-degree angle, really pushing down through that back pinky toe edge. Front knee is pointing straight forward, front toe is pointing straight forward. That knee is right above the ankle. You can check in with your hips. Bring the left hip forward, making sure to keep the back pinky toe edge really glued down to the mat. Once you've got your feet and your hips set, inhale, lift your hands up. Turn your pinkies in to keep the shoulders moving down the back. Interlace your fingers, pointers up, take a deep breath in. Exhale, really gentle back bend, go nice and slow here. It's a balance challenge. Come straight back up, breathing in. Exhale, Humber Warrior, sweep your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers, push down, puffing up the chest. Take a deep breath in here. As you breathe out, fold forward, hinging from the hips, keeping the spine really long going down. Once you find your edge, relax your head and neck down and peel your arms off your back. Check in with your shoulders here. Push through your hands towards the sky behind you to feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back. On your next inhale, rise back up to warrior one. Exhale, opening out. Warrior two, pivot your back foot around. Bring your arms straight out in either direction. Front heel is intersecting either the back heel or the back arch. Feet are perpendicular to each other. Check on your back hand. Make sure it's not dripping down. And bring your gaze over your front middle finger. Let's do our yoga jumping jacks here. 5 of them at your own pace with your breath. Inhale, straighten out the front knee, bring the hands up overhead. Exhale, slowly sinking back down to warrior two. 4 more, just going with the breath. Try to stretch your breath out. 3, stretching out the motion to match the breath. Nice and slow, feel every muscle moving together. 2. And last one. Drop your hands down to your hips. We're going to come into Prasarita, wide-legged forward bend. Straighten out the front knee. Turn the right toes toward the long edge of the mat. And then peek down at your feet. Bring your pinky toe edges parallel. Big toes ever so slightly turned inward. Pull your elbows towards each other behind your back, puffing up the chest. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, folding forward, hinging from the hips, keeping the spine long. Once you find your edge, relax everything down. Release your hands down to the ground. Adjust your feet as needed. My feet always want to go just a little bit wider once my hands get down to the ground. And start to crawl your hands forward. Still being really conscious of the shoulders, keeping the shoulders moving down the back. We're stretching out through the arms and the legs and the back. Head and neck are just dangling down towards the ground. And now walk your hands through your feet, turning your fingertips around so they're pointing in the opposite direction. See how far out behind you can comfortably crawl those fingers. And the farther out behind you get your hands, the more you're going to feel that stretch in your legs. Now walk your hands back to center. Coming into an open arm twist, plant your right hand right underneath your face. Inhale, lifting your left arm high, opening up towards the side. Try to bring your arms perpendicular to the floor. It's okay if they're not perpendicular, just reaching in that direction. Finding your edge, listening to your body, Check in with your hips. You want to keep the hips really in line with the legs here, perpendicular to the floor. One more big breath in here. Exhale, release your left hand back down to the ground and switch sides. All weight comes to the left hand. Inhale, right arm high. Stretch those fingers up to the sky. Remember, it's okay if your arms aren't perfectly perpendicular. Just find your own edge. If it's okay on the neck, you can bring your gaze up towards the upper hand. One more deep breath in here. And release on your breath out. Bring both hands right underneath the face. Weight comes to both of your hands to bend your knees. And pull your heels in towards each other. Inhale, rising up to starfish. Exhale, sink down into horse. Bend your knees, bend your elbows. We're trying to bring our upper arms and upper legs towards being parallel with the ground. It's okay if they're not perfectly parallel. Just reaching in that direction. This is a hard one to hold. You might feel your muscles start to tremble a little bit. It's totally normal. We're just going to be here for a couple more breaths. On your next inhale, rise back up to starfish. Exhale, opening out to warrior two. Take one more deep breath in here. On your breath out, cartwheel the hands down, framing the front foot. Send your right heel high to breathe in. Double dip chaturanga, breathing out. You can keep your right leg up. You can drop it down. You can drop the knees down. Come into up dog or cobra on your breath in. And downward facing dog on your exhale. Let's take a little break before we do the other side. Make your way to child's pose. Knees together wide. Relax the forehead down. Close your eyes. You can wrap your hands back towards the feet if you like. Focus on the breath. Reconnecting with your breath. Gently stretching and lengthening each breath. Making your way back to a nice, strong, deep breath. If your hands are wrapped back towards the feet, bring them back out in front of you. On an inhale, lift up your chest, coming to hands and knees tabletop. Exhale to downward facing dog, tucking your toes, lift your hips up. Let's do that sequence on the left. Left heel comes up high, take a deep breath in. Exhale, bringing your knee to your nose, shoulders right over the wrists. Foot goes back up on a breath in. Exhale, tap your left knee to your left elbow. Inhale, sending your left heel high. Exhale, cross it over, tapping it to the right elbow. Straight back up, breathing in. And step your foot through between your hands as you breathe out, rising up to warrior one. Check in on your back foot. Make sure that pinky toe edge on the right foot is rooted down to the mat. Pull the right hip forward, keeping that whole right sole touching the mat. Check on your front knee, make sure it's right over the ankle. Front toes pointing straight towards the short end of the mat. Hands are up, turn the pinkies in. Interlace your fingers, pointers up, take a deep breath in. Exhale, slowly coming into a gentle back bend. Straight back up to breathe in. Humble warrior. As you breathe out, sweep your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers. Push down, puff up the chest. Take a deep breath in. Fold forward on your exhale. Taking your time, keeping the spine really long. Left side body, you can rest against the left inner thigh. Relax the head and neck down once you find your edge and peel your arms off your back. Push through the hands, feel the shoulder blades sliding down the back, out of the ears, towards the hips. On your next inhale, rise back up to warrior one. And exhale, opening out to warrior two. Pivot your back foot around. Maybe you want to widen the stance. Sliding the front foot forward, sliding that back foot back. Check down at your feet. Make sure the front heel is intersecting the back heel or the back arch. Peek at the back hand, making sure it's nice and high. And bring the gaze right over the front middle finger. 5 yoga jumping jacks on this side, going at your own pace with your breath. Inhale, knees straight, hands up overhead. Exhale, slowly make your way back down to warrior two. 4 more, letting your breath be your guide. Try to take your whole breath to complete each motion, stretching out the motion in the breath. 2. And last one. One more time, coming into Prasarita. Straighten out the front knee. Drop your hands to your hips and turn your left toes toward the long edge of the mat. Bring your big toes a little bit inward to line up the pinky toe edges. And this time, inhale, lifting your hands up overhead. Exhale, sweep them down and back behind you, just like humble warrior. Interlace your fingers, push down, pop up the chest, take a deep breath in. Fold forward on your breath out, keeping the spine nice and long going down. Relax your head and neck, peel the arms off the back, push through your hands, feel your shoulder blades sliding down your back, towards your hips, out of your ears. Release your hands and let your hands slide down your legs, stopping wherever you find your edge. If you can reach all the way down to the feet, you can tuck your fingers underneath the pinky toe edges of the feet. Maybe you can even bend your elbows a little bit out to the sides to bring the chest even closer into the legs. Release your hands out from under your feet, coming into another little twist here. Reach your right hand out and grab onto the left leg wherever it feels good. Ankle, calf, or thigh is fine. And then with your left fingertips, you're going to start to crawl your fingers overhead towards the right. It doesn't matter how far you get here. You don't have to get very far at all. Even if you just get a couple inches and then you start to feel it in your arm or your leg, you can stop wherever you find that edge. You might feel this twist in a shoulder or in a leg. Just listen to your body. Notice where you feel this twist. Release your hands and switch sides. Left hand reaches out, grabs onto the right leg. Anywhere that feels good. Ankle, calf, or thigh is fine. And start to crawl your right fingertips overhead towards the left. Don't worry about how far you get. Just feel it. Feel your edge. Release both hands. Bring both hands right underneath your face. Weight comes to your hands to bend your knees and pull your heels in towards each other. Inhale, rising up to starfish. Exhale, sinking down into horse. Bend the knees, bend the elbows. We're going to flow like that 4 more times with the breath. Inhale, rising up to starfish. Exhale, gently lowering down into horse. 3, 2, remember you don't have to worry about how far you get down. Just listen to your body, let it tell you when to stop. And last one. Come back up to starfish, breathing in. Exhale, opening out to warrior 2. Take one more breath in here. As you breathe out, cartwheel the hands down, framing the front foot. Left heel goes high on a breath in. Double dip chaturanga, however you like it, breathing out. Up dog or cobra to breathe in. And downward facing dog on your exhale. Let's take another little break. Drop the knees down. Make your way to child's pose. If child's pose is uncomfortable for you, you're always welcome to take a rest in any other position on your back or belly, wherever you're nice and comfortable. Close your eyes. Coming back to a strong, deep breath again. On your next breath in, lift your chest up, coming to hands and knees, tabletop. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips up, downward facing dog. Let's come into a little bit of a down dog twist here. Open up your feet and bring your pinky toes to touch the outside edges of the mat. Walk your hands, one handprint closer to the feet. And then reach your right hand out and grab onto your left leg, anywhere that feels good, ankle, calf, or thigh. Bring your gaze underneath your left hand and check in with the hips. Sometimes they want to lean over to the left, push them back to center, right between the feet. Release your right hand, look forward to set it back down in its spot on the mat. And switch sides, left hand reaches out, grabs onto the right leg, anywhere that feels good. Bring your hips right back to center between the feet. Gaze comes underneath the right arm. Release your left hand, look forward to set it back down, and then make your way back to your normal, comfortable downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high, take a deep breath in. Exhale, stepping the foot through between the hands. Stay low, bring your gaze straight forward, take a deep breath in and out. On your next breath in, lift your left knee high, arms float up overhead. Exhale, going right back to your low lunge. Drop your hands down to frame the foot, step your left foot back. We're going to try 4 more of those. Just going with the breath here. Look forward. Inhale, lifting your knee up. Exhale, stepping the foot back. Drop your hands down. 3. It's okay to take a break. Breath down at the bottom if you'd like. 2. And last one. Inhale, lifting the knee up. Exhale, stepping back to your low lunge. Let's come back up. We're going to stay up this time. Inhale, lift your knee up. And now drop your hands down, grabbing onto that knee. Interlace your fingers outside of the knee. If this is enough, you can stay right here. If you want a bit more of a challenge, bring your right hand to your hip and start to open out the left knee towards the left. If you're real flexible in that leg and you want to try to extend the leg all the way, you can grab the pinky toe edge of the foot and open out the left leg. You might want to lift your right arm up as well to help with the counterbalance here. Take one more deep breath in and release. Shake it all out. Eagle pose. We start by coming into chair. You can bring your big toes to touch with some space between the heels, or you can start with your feet on 2 different chain tracks, a little bit of space between the feet there. Inhale, lifting the hands high. Exhale, sitting down into your chair. Push your hips down and back. Bring your hands to heart center to set up for eagle. Bring all the way to your right foot, lifting the left leg up. Cross the left leg over the right so that your left thigh is right on top of the right thigh. And then try to wrap your left toes towards the back of the right leg. They're probably not going to go all the way around. Some people can get there. I certainly can't. Just going in that direction is fine. If you want to include the arms, the left arm comes underneath. Wrap your hands around, matching up the palms. And then lift up your arms so that your elbows come parallel with the shoulders. Sitting up nice and straight and tall, feel the crown of your head stretching up towards the sky, and bounce your gaze off your forearms. On your next breath in, unwind, arms come up overhead, lifting your knee up. Exhale, drop your foot down, hands together in front of the heart. Give your legs a wiggle. Let's try eagle on the other side. Big toes touching some space between the heels. Or feet on 2 different chain tracks. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, sitting back down into the chair. Wiggle your toes, make sure most of the weight's in the heels. Bring your hands to heart center. Lift your right leg up and cross your right leg over your left. Right thigh, right on top of the left. Try to wrap those right toes back towards the back of the left leg. If you want to include the arms, right arm comes underneath the left. Wrap your arms around and match up your palms. And then lift your arms up, bringing the elbows parallel with the shoulders. Bounce the gaze off the forearms. Sit up nice and straight. Unwind on an inhale, lifting your knee and arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Drop that foot down. Wiggle it out. Let's come into big toe pose. Feet come hip width distance apart on the mat. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, folding forward, keeping a nice long spine going down. Once you get down, release your hands. You're going to grab onto your big toes one at a time. Take your middle finger and your index finger. Slide them in between the big toe and the second toe. Grab them underneath the big toe and lock them in place with the thumb. Grab onto the other big toe, middle finger, index finger, right between the big toe and the second toe. Rock them in place with the thumb. Once you've got both toes, relax your head and neck down, just letting them dangle towards the ground. You can pop your elbows out to the sides to bring your chest closer into the legs, to deepen the stretch. You can have your knees bent here as much as you need to grab onto those toes. You can also bend one knee and straighten the other. Nod your head yes, take a deep breath in. And shake your head now, breathe it out. One more time, nod your head yes, deep inhale. Shake your head now, exhale. Release your hands from your feet. Weight comes to the fingertips to heel to the feet back together again. Take a half lift, breathing in. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, hop or step back to your high plank, upper push-up. Lower down halfway. Try to bring the soles of the feet parallel to the wall behind you. Inhale, back up again. Exhale, lowering down right to the elbows. Up dog or cobra on your breath in. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. Another little break before we do the other side. Make your way to child's pose. Take a couple strong, deep breaths here. If your hands are wrapped back towards the feet, bring your hands back out in front of you. Inhale, lifting up your chest to hands, knees, tabletop. Exhale to downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Lift your left leg high. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, stepping the foot through between the hands. Stay low. Bring your gaze forward. Take a deep breath in and out. On your next breath in, lift your right knee high. Arms float up overhead. Exhale, straight back down to your low lunge. Step your foot back. Drop your hands down to the mat. We're going to do that 4 more times, trying to go with the breath. It's always okay to take a break breath and inhale and an exhale down on the ground. Just listen to your body. Inhale, knee up, arms high. 3, 2, and last one. Coming up again, we're going to stay up this time. Lift your knee up, arms up overhead. And drop your hands down, interlacing your fingers outside of the knee. It's a balance challenge here. And that standing leg is pretty tired. So you maybe want to just stay right here. Maybe you want a little bit more of a challenge, opening out the right knee towards the right. You can also bring that left arm up to help with balance here. Or maybe you're feeling super flexible today. You want to grab the pinky toe edge of the right foot and straighten out the right leg. Definitely want to lift that left arm up as well to help with your counterbalance. One more big breath in and release. Shake it out. That one's hard. We're going to come into hand to foot pose. Feet come hip width distance apart. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, diving forward. Nice long spine going down. Once you get down, you're going to lift up your toes one at a time and slide your hands underneath your foot so that the palm of your hand is facing the sole of the foot and the toes are resting right in the crease of that wrist. You can bend your knees as much as you need to get the hands all the way underneath the feet. Once you've got both hands down there, relax your head and neck down. Bend one knee and then the other. A little movement. Again, if you want to come deeper into the fold, you can always bend your elbows out to the sides to bring your chest closer into the legs. The farther you come into that fold, the more you're going to feel it on the backs of the legs. One at a time, release your hands out from under your feet. Weight comes to the fingers to heel to the feet back together again. Take a half lift, breathing in. Exhale, double dip chaturanga. Plant your hands, hop or step back to your high plank. Lower down halfway. Inhale, back up. Exhale, down again. Up dog or cobra, breathing in. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. Drop your elbows down to the mat, coming onto your forearms, and then make your way into a forearm plank. We're going to come into a side forearm plank here. Bring your right arm out at an angle in front of you, and then start to roll onto the pinky toe edge of the right foot. You can stagger your feet here, left foot in front of right, or stack them. Or if you're feeling really wobbly, you can drop your left foot down, toes pointing straight towards the long edge of the mat. A little extra balance, and then lift your left arm up to the sky. If it's okay on your neck, you can bring your gaze up towards the upper hand. One more breath in here. Exhale, release. We're going to switch sides. Bring your left arm out at an angle in front of you. Roll onto the pinky toe side of the left foot. Stagger the feet, right foot in front of left. Stack them, right foot on top of left. Or drop that right foot down on the mat in front of you. Toes pointing straight towards the long edge of the mat. Lift your right arm up. Push your hips up towards the sky. Maybe you can bring your gaze up towards the upper hand if it feels okay on the neck. One more deep breath in here. And release, coming all the way down onto your belly. You can stack your hands and rest your forehead on your stacked hands, or you can rest on a cheek and wrap your hands back behind towards your hips with your palms facing up. Bring your chin back to the mat. Kick up your feet. We're going to come into bow pose. Reach back with both of your hands and grab outside the ankles. On a breath in, lift up your legs to peel up your chest off the mat. Keep your gaze pretty low on the ground in front of you to protect your neck. One more breath in, lifting even higher. And exhale, release. You can stack your hands again and rest your forehead. Or if you were resting on one side, turn your head to the other side, resting on the opposite cheek. Close your eyes again, feeling your breath. Bring your chin back to the mat. Hands come right underneath your shoulders. Inhale, pushing your chest up, and make your way to a seat. Send your legs out long in front of you. Coming into half fish pose here. Bend your right knee, pointing it straight up towards the sky. Cross it over the left leg. Left leg can stay where it is, or you can bring your weight over to the left and bend your left knee, wrapping it around your hips. Right fingertips come behind you. With your left arm, you can either hug the front knee or inhale, lifting your hand up. Exhale, tucking your elbow outside the knee to come deeper into the twist. Release your arms, plant both hands on your left side, and tap your forehead down for a counter twist. Push your chest up on a breath in. Wiggle out the legs. And let's come in on the other side. Left knee comes up, pointing towards the sky. Cross it over the right leg. Right leg stays where it is, or bring the weight over to the right. And wrap that right leg around your hips. Bring your left fingertips behind you. With your right arm, you can either hug your front knee or inhale your hand up. Exhale, tucking the elbow outside the knee. Come come even deeper into the twist. Release your arms, plant both hands on your right side and tap your forehead down. Push your chest up, breathing in. Wiggle the legs out and come all the way onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, squeezing into a little ball. Lift your forehead up to your knees. Relax your head back down to the mat. Finding your kneecaps with your hands. Do some gentle circles with your knees. Giving your lower back a little massage on the ground. You can move your knees going the same way or opposite from each other. And find circles going the other direction. Release your hands. Open out your arms wide in a T. Float your legs in a tabletop, 90 degrees on the knees and hips. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, dropping the knees down together to the right, all the way to the floor. Trying to keep that 90-degree angle in the knees and hips. Right fingers can tuck inside the crease of the left knee to help the legs stay down. And then bring your gaze over to your left hand to complete your twist. Release your right hand back out to the side. Lift your knees up to center on a breath in. Exhale, dropping the legs down together towards the left, all the way to the ground. Left fingers can tuck inside the crease of the right knee to help them stay down, and bring the gaze over to the right hand. On your next breath in, lift your knees back up to center. Happy baby pose. Grab outside the knees, the legs bent, or open up your feet and reach for the pinky toe edges of the feet. Gently rock side to side. Bend one knee and then the other. That feels good. And release, making your way into Shavasana. If there's any last pose you'd like to do that you didn't get to in class, you're welcome to take that now. Otherwise, just find the most comfortable position you can, laying down on your mat. Shavasana is traditionally flat on the ground, arms and legs just straight out. But sometimes that doesn't feel good. If you'd like, you're always welcome also to take Shavasana on your belly. Here you can bring your legs into easy pose, bring the soles of the feet together into Supta Baddha Konasana, bound ankle pose on your back. Hands can be on your belly and your heart, or you can have your hands by your sides, palms facing up or down. Lift the chest up, slide the shoulders down the back a little bit more. Bring your chin into your chest and rock your head side to side. Just let your head fall back to its natural center point. Release your body. If it's helpful, you can do another body scan here, just checking for any tension. And imagine that tension melting out of you into the ground. Release your breath, making your way back to natural breathing. And release your mind, just watching your thoughts come and go like the ocean waves. Find a few moments of stillness to complete your practice today. Blink your eyes open and start to make your way back up to a seat. Thank you all so much for joining me today for yoga. Namaste.